Good morning, dear students. Welcome to online video classes of History and Civics. Today we are going to study the next part of the chapter 2, the Vedic period. So, dear students, today we will cover these topics in our video class. First, archaeological resources of information about Vedic period, position of women in Vedic period, class division system, the 4 ashrams. Now we will start with archaeological sources. Archaeological sources that bear witness to the Vedic age include remnants of pottery as well as metallurgy that resulted in such things as iron tools, copper domestic items, and gold, silver jewelries. Other physical evidence of the Vedic age is clay inscription from the Harappan civilization that are similar to the writing of Vedas. Coins from that period that ruins of the settlement made out of clay or mud bricks. Settlement patterns along the now dried up the Saraswati, which are referred to be Rig Veda civilization. Archaeologists have discovered further resources in marine environment also. For example, an entire skin port city that was known in Vedic times as Dwarka. The finding appears to corroborate the historical source of Mahabharata, an epic Sanskrit poem that was written after the Vedas, but describes the city of Dwarka, which was believed to have been built during the Vedic age. These types of archaeological resources are the source of information about the social criteria and living system of the Vedic Aryans, such as their pottery and coins and clay pots. Now we will study about the position of women in Vedic period. Worldwide, among many societies, India has been some of the most adulting regard for women in Vedic culture. Women held very important positions in the ancient society. It was a position superior to men. There are literary evidences to suggest that women power destroyed kingdoms and mighty rules. The Vedic customs had a high regard for the qualities of women and has retained utmost respect within this tradition, as seen in the honor it gives for the goddess, who is portrayed as the feminine embodiment of important qualities and powers. These forms include those of Lakshmi, goddess of fortune and queen of Lord Vishnu, Saraswati, the goddess of learning, Durga, the goddess of strength and power, Kali, the power of time, and other Vedic goddesses that exemplify inner strength and divine attributes. Even divine power in the form of Shakti is considered feminine. The pro-Vedic culture, women have always been the highest level of respect and autonomy, but also protection and safety. Women were allowed to have multiple husbands. Widow could remarry. They could leave their husband. In the Vedic society, women practiced in religious ceremonies and tribal assemblies, such as Sabha and Vidhata. There is no evidence of circulation of women from domestic and social affairs, but they were dependent on their male relations throughout their life. The system of sati was existed among the Aryans in the early period. By the time they entered India, it had, however, gone out of the system, but it might survive in the shape of a formal custom. It is not referred to the hymns of Rigveda, but the Atharvaveda shows that it was customary for the widow to lay symbolically by side of her husband's corpse on the funeral pyre. Monogamy was very common. Polygamy was not common. Child marriages were unknown. Women could choose their husbands through a type of a marriage called Swayamvar. In this type of marriage, potential grooms assembled at the bride's house and the bride selected her spouse, means husbands. Instance of Swayamvar ceremony can be found in epics such as the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Through these types of evidence, we can understand that woman has a prestigious status in the society at the time of Vedic period. Now we will study about the class division and social life of Vedic period. Caste division was called at that time as Varna system. Varna system is the social stratification based on the Varna caste. Four basic categories are defined under this system. Brahmins means priests, teachers, intellectuals. Kshatriyas, warriors, kings, administrators. Vaishyas, agriculturalists, traders, farmers. And Shudras, workers, laborers, artisans. What is Varna? Varna is a Sanskrit term derived from var, to cover, to envelop, count, classify, consider, describe or choose. The term is used to describe the social class divisions made in the Vedic period in the Brahmacharya books like Manusmriti. Origin of Varna system. The first mention of Varna system was found in Purusha Suktam verse of the ancient Sanskrit Rigveda. Purusha is believed to be the first being continued by a combination of the four Varnas, such as classification. Brahmins represents its mouth, as you are watching in the picture also. Kshatriyas its arm, Vash its eyes, and Shudra its feet. The society is constituted to follow the Varna rules in order to sustain prosperity and order. The purpose of Varna system at that time was only to divide the Varna, to distribute the responsibility among the various people, and to maintain purity of caste, establish eternal order, and the system is believed to avoid conflicts within business and incurment of the respective duty. Specific caste division now. Brahmins, they provide education and spiritual leadership. They are ought to determine the vision and values of society. Kshatriya, their responsibility is to protect the society and is expected to portray the considerable strength of body and character. Vaishya, they are productive class of their duty to protect animal, the land, create wealth and prosperity. The Shudras were the only class who are allowed to accept another employment. Their duty is to render the service to one and another and to maintain loyalty. So like this, in the Vedic period, we were having four class divisions, which was very clear to maintain or divide the duty regarding the society work. Four ashrams of Vedic period. Now we will study about the four ashrams of the Vedic life. It was based on an individual's karma and dharma. Every doctrine of ancient India carved out by many ancient saints is based on scientific and rational reason. However, to put them to use they needed to be socially embedded. Hence, methods like the ashram system were included in the Vedic society. The average of life of an Indian was considered to be 100 years. Based on this, there were 4 ashrams of Vedic life. First, the Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya ashram. The Brahmacharya ashram, often away from the home, somewhat like a boarding school, was primarily intended for fostering spiritual values. Memorization and skill development were subsidiary to character formation and self-realization. Even sons of the royal families were expected to undergo this system and training. It is like that to be celibate and live a simple life free from sense of pleasure and material allurement. To serve the Guru means a spiritual teacher and collect alms for him. To hear, study and assimilate the Vedas. And to develop all the appropriate qualities: humility, discipline, simplicity, purity of thought, cleanness, soft-heartedness and so on. Now we will study about Grihastha ashram. Grihastha ashram, traditionally some men remained lifelong celibates, either remaining as brahmacharis or immediately becoming sannyasis. Others were required to marry, extending their responsibility to include wife, children, relatives and society in general. This ashram is the only one permitting the family gratification, to make money, to enjoy sensual pleasure according to ethical principles, to perform sacrifice and observe religious rituals, to protect and nourish the family members such as wife, children and elders, to teach children spiritual values, to give charity and especially to feed holy people, the poor and the animals. Vanprasth ashram means retired life. After the children have left home and settled, a man may gradually retire from family responsibilities with his wife to begin focus his mind on his spiritual matters. Often he goes on pilgrimage. His wife may accompany him, but all other relationships are forbidden. Vanprasth literally means forest dweller. To generally devote more time to spiritual manners, to engage in austerity and purity, to go on pilgrimage. Next we will study about the Sannyas ashram. The Sannyas ashram. The position is traditionally available only to men who exhibit the family qualities. Sorry, it means who exhibit the qualities of Brahmana. The man would leave home and family and was prohibited from seeing his wife again, considered civilly dead. He was free to wander, living a life dependent on God alone. The sannyasis are conspicuous in their saffron rays. They are often called sadhus, holy people. All they today, not all are genuine. To fully control the mind and senses, to fix the mind on the supreme, to become detached and fearless, fully dependent on God as only protector, to teach and preach importance of self-realization and God consciousness, especially to the householders who often became distracted from their spiritual duties. So dear students, today we have covered these topics in our video class, such as archaeological resources of information of Vedic period, position of women in Vedic period, class division, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Then 4 ashrams of Vedic period such as Brahmacharya, Grihast, Vanprastha and Sannyas ashram. In our next video class, we will cover other points which are left in the chapter. Till then, have a nice day and thank you.